Group 3 Season 13 Round 1 here at Barcelona, the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. That is going to be this is the place we are racing. I will be the official place for the commentary of the entire season in the Pro Lobby. If you're interested in watching the AM, which you should also definitely check out, that will be over on Herbie's channel this week, and I believe next week it will then be on Hunty's, probably Twitch, and so on and so forth. It will keep alternating between them two. We'll be doing the comms for next week. So those two, Herbie and Hunty, are going to be alternating on commentary each week. But here we are, this is the first round of the new season. It's a good couple of new drivers. And so first thing I think we should probably direct just who will actually be racing this season. So I can confirm our pro drivers for this race consist of Wittmann, Witt, Hat, Zabi, Raiden, Athens, Wiz, Melond, Napo, Hansa, Resite, Cordell, Holman, Timmy, Epicman and Stormfly. They will be the drivers that will be partaking in the Pro Lobby. So a few new names in there and a few names that we should all well and truly know by now. If there is so if there is anyone who has not seen anything before and doesn't know how this is going to work, basically at the moment they're doing a bit of practice. They will then do a stuck check, which is a no holds barred stuck check. Anyway, let's get the stream up. I can read comments and stuff. I've definitely turned that down. Right, yes, so we're on. Yeah, so the way this is going to work this season, we will have all of these drivers will be racing in their Group 3 cars, and the race is going to be divided into sprint and feature. Points are awarded the same for both, with a point for qualifying and fastest lap. How is qualifying set, you ask? Well, basically, when it's done underway, the lobby will be divided into two groups, Group 1 and Group 2. Group 1 will go out first, do a one-shot qualifying, set one flying lap, and then that will be it once they set their flying lap. So they'll set one lap and go back to the pits. Then Group 2 will go out as well in the session once the entirety of Group 1 has started their flying lap. That way, the reason that's done is so no one trips over each other, because you have one qualifying lap. And slipstreaming is not allowed, so if anyone is too close to someone on their flying lap, they will be looking into it and penalise people accordingly. I don't actually know what the penalty is myself. I didn't see anyone do it last week that got penalty. But that is the way qualifying will set the grid for the sprint races. Stormfly running a little bit wide. So the grid will be set on sprint using the qualifying. Now the sprint will be a shorter race, no tyre wear, no fuel wear, standing start, and it's just go for it and see who wins. That will be the one we'll be seeing everyone using their overtakes do as best as they can. Like I say, same amount of points are on offer for both the sprint and the feature. So it's a point for qualifying, pole, and a point for fastest lap in both races. The feature will be a longer race. We'll have a rolling start. There will be tyre wear on and using softs and medium tyres, and the feature is set by reverse grid of the sprint. So if you finish first in the sprint, you're starting last in the feature, and if you finish last in the sprint, you will start first in this feature. The only problem is if you start last in the feature, you're likely to start in the middle of a chicane because it is a rolling start. There is a bob on and no tuning, therefore all the cars are as close as equal as they can. Hello Hippie Head Gaming, glad to see you with us in the stream and hope you enjoy this one. It should be a good race. There's a number of really quick drivers. Like I said, There are some new faces around here. You got the likes of TGL Timmy, Gr.3 Cordell is another one. Stormfly and Epix Man are also about to make their ISRL debut, I do believe. So we have had an influx of new people, which means a full lobby. Means we've got a full lobby for both Pro and Am, which means there are more people overtaking, so it should be a good race. Obviously, as well as the new people, we have got the usual suspects. Sabine, who is second season of Group 3, I believe. We also got like Maris, he's been around for a while, so there's Melon. Raiden, who seems to win every single championship he's in. Let's see if he can, anyone can stop him. As Redstep plows him off the road, I'm assuming that's all part of the master plan. It's just ram Raiden. The likes of Athenium and Hat Maris, like I said, Vitman Shi will be in this as well. So a bunch of the usual drivers as well as the drivers. We'll see how they get on in their first race then. So yeah, we will have a stuck check. This will be a no holds barred race where you can literally do whatever you want. There is a championship for this. It's obviously not the top prize, but there will be a championship in that one. So like I said, if you're interested in watching the Am, either just you don't fancy watching the Pro or you want to watch it afterward, which is again either way, whatever suits you. The Am is at the moment streamed on Herbie's channel, which I believe is just called Herbie. So that will be on YouTube. Let me just confirm that for you now. Yeah, so Herbie's YouTube channel is Herbie75. So that will be where the Am race is streamed today, and then I believe it's Anthony Hunt on possibly Twitch, who will be doing the race next week for Am. I will be a constant. I will always be streaming pros unless I can't, and the stuck check has got qualifying for some reason. Why is the stuck check not qualifying? I believe it might have been a mistake. But yeah, still on about. I feel that wasn't part of the plan, not gonna lie. I don't think that was meant to happen. But they do. Well, it's because it was meant to happen, and the stuck check was meant to test if everyone can get out. But judging by Vit's response, I'm going to assume it wasn't meant to happen. So then, with the start of the race, the start of the new season upon us, in fact, I should probably run you through the calendar. The calendar this season will be, these are the tracks we'll be doing them on. We've got Barcelona this weekend. Next week we've got Brands Hatch. Then there are Interlagos, it's Fuji after that, Monza, Nürburgring, Red Bull Ring, and the season finale at Spa. And so that will be the season upon us as we wait to crown ourselves a season 13 champion. Will it be Raiden grabbing another one? It is quite possible. You'd be fooled to count him out. But we'll see who it is that takes the fight to him this season. There's usually always one person that can take the fight to him each season. So as we just run through the cars as well, actually, Sabi is in the Viper, I would seem. Yeah, Viper. Melon's opted for the Jag. The Athenium is in the Supra. Maris is back in his French Citroen wide boy thing. Raiden has gone for the Viper as well, it seems, as Tay in his Alpha. I bet he's taking his time right now, cutting every single corner. Vit is in the Peugeot, because if you thought Vit was going to be anything other than the Peugeot, you've got to have gone mad. Timmy has opted to go in the GTR, that seems. Epic Man in the WRX, Stormfly in the Porsche, and Cordell in the Mercedes. So that's the cars. As usual with this Group 3 league, any Group 3 is allowed. There was a time when we banned the car But now you just have any car you want, so long as there's no more than 2 of each car per lobby. So because Tay's in an Alpha, only one other person is allowed to be in this lobby with an Alpha. Or because there's 2 Vipers, evening mashed potato, or because there's 2 Vipers in this lobby, no one else is allowed a Viper in this lobby, if that makes sense. So away they go for the stuck check, and anticipate a large accident before we get to turn 1. I was going to say at turn 1, it appears it's all kicked off. We haven't even made turn 1. But don't worry, this is the actual race. It's the opportunity for them to get their tendencies out of the way and get it out of the system, so to speak. I mean, the real reason the stuck check happens is to make sure everyone can get off the grid okay. But then they started punting everyone into turn 1. We thought we'd embrace that. And so now they're allowed to do this. A 1-lap race where it is just chaos. It really is just chaos. But there is now a championship for this. So a 1-lap race at each of the events to punt everyone off. And there's even a championship for it now. So, yeah, if you want to... I think it was Foxy that won the Stuck Check Championship. Last season, the inaugural, hang on. It was Foxy who won the inaugural Stuck Check Championship. He is in ARM, of course, even though he probably should be a pro along with Mikey, but they didn't make the cut for this lobby for some reason. But that's it, Reps. It looks like Zabi's going to come through to take the first stuck check. Oh my god, Stormfly has almost come out of line. Stormfly in the final chicane has taken it. Look at that. Zabi was looking strong the whole race. I was going to say the whole race, but it was 1 lap. Zabi has been stolen. Well then. Zabi was leading the entire stuck check race comfortably on his own, and Stormfly just appears out of nowhere, takes it at the final chicane. Cordell up into 3rd as well, so Stormfly and Cordell doing the first Group 3 race. What a way to start that one then. So there you go then, Stormfly is the first winner of the stuck check race of the season. And there's your official results. Tay and Hat Marriott down at the bottom. There you go. He went up 8 positions as well, so quite the race from Stormfly. As the cars have for their moment off the exit, they're all done there now. So that's the stuck check. Everyone got off perfectly fine. So now I believe Vit, who is the lobby host, will now set us up for the actual race. There we go. And we'll do the qualifying. And we'll do the qualifying. So the qualifier, as explained, if anyone's joined since I first explained it, here's how this is going to work. We've got 6 minutes on the clock, and the lobby is going to be divided into 2 groups, Group 1 and Group 2. I know, right? Amazingly named. Group 1 will go out first. They have to maintain a gap from each other to make sure they don't slipstream, and once all of Group 1 starts their flying lap, Group 2 will go out, and then basically everyone will get 1 flying lap to see what time they set. And then from then unusual qualifying rules apply. Fastest time goes first, and slowest time goes last, and everyone in between goes in between. But, so like I said, 1 lap, each of these drivers is going to just get 1 lap, and there you go, there is your official Group 1s. That will be Aphaniam, Cordell, Timmy, X-Man, Epic Man, and Stormfly in Group 1, which will leave the rest of the team of the lobby, the likes of Reste, Hat Maris, Vitman Chi, I believe Savvy, not lot, and Raiden will be in Group 2. He will go out once Group 1 has started their lap. Basically, the reason we split it into 2 groups, it prevents people from tripping over each other in the qualifying, and with slipstreaming being not allowed in the qualifying, it further makes sure we don't slipstream. The order of which you go out onto the track doesn't really matter all too much. It's just so long as all of Group 1 goes out, it sets the time. They only get one shot. So the reason it said 6 minutes is because it should allow both groups to be able to set their lap time. So qualifying will be getting underway, and we'll see who takes the first pole of the season. In terms of predictions, Raiden is always a shout for pole position, and this time in a Viper this season. So we'll see how he gets on in the Viper. Last time using the Supra and still won. So Raiden's always a shot at pole position. Gr.3, another really quick driver over one lap. He says by his own admission that it's the feature race where he struggles, but he's often up there when it comes to qualifying and the sprint, so I expect him to be up there in his Alfa Romeo. And what can the new guys do? The likes of Epic Man, Cordell, Timmy, Stormfly, where will they place themselves on the qualifying grid? One lap then, and here we go. And it looks like and so it appears to be TGL Timmy who is about to lead us away onto okay then, Wizard, that's you do you. TGL Timmy is the first person leading himself out onto the flying lap, and they've basically got the entire lap to make sure they have the space, because they're not allowed to slipstream. Stormfly looks good on that department, coming out last. Athenium, Cordell and Epic Man might need to space themselves out a bit more as a Timmy, but I'm sure they'll have the course lot. I think Epic Man's a bit far off of Timmy, but they do also need to make sure they get around the lap so that Group 2 gets a flying lap, because if they go too slow, and then the Group 2s will all have to start the back because they don't have a flying lap. Luckily that hasn't happened, as I think they've all managed to quite understand. That's gone. So TGL Timmy then will be the first driver on a flying lap, so we'll ride on board with his lap as he goes through the flying lap. So no pressure Timmy, but the eyes will be on you for the first lap, and we'll see what he can do as he comes around this final sector now. It's Raiden just reminding everyone they needed to back off in this line lap. I think that was more directed to the likes of Cordell, Epic Man, Athenium's backed off a bit as well. But Cordell as well has backed off, and they're all sorted on that department. So here we go, TGL Timmy riding that curve through the final chicane, and as we ride on board now with Timmy heading around the final corner to begin the first flying lap of the season. There starts the lap now, a long straight, so straight goes downhill toward the breaking point of the first corner, which is just about there. Yep, about 100 metre board. Braking, turning, accelerating again, keeping on the curb, nice and tidy at the moment. A little bit of slide around there, turn 3. A lot of lift off, not complete lift off, but a lot of lift off. Sets the throttle down, runs it out wide. Try not to go too far wide, because you spit that exit curb. Braking along the curb as well, that is commitment there. Looking out to the inside of turn 4, it almost looks like the rear looks almost, from the onboard, looked like the rear was almost starting to get away from him a little bit on the exit of the corners there, but it wasn't anything major. It's been a tidy lap for Timmy so far, but how quick is it? He rides uphill. It's easy to get these section of the corner wrong. I've done that a couple of times. Still rises up the hill toward turn 9. A lot of lift off, didn't quite see. There was brake on entry, riding the curb on the exit, trying to go too wide. That is a crucial penalties area where, well, you can get penalties. Then harden the brakes at turn 10. It's going to be one of the key overtaking spots to watch out for. Be careful on the throttle coming out of the corner as you rise now up the hill. Bit of a nightmare this final sector on the F1 games, but it's a lot better on Gran Turismo. Now you've got just the final chicane to go. Bring again on the curb, so Timmy clearly high in confidence at the moment on this one lap. He's only got this lap, a lot of curb usage as he bounces his way along the top of them, rides the yellow curb on the exit, flat through the final corner, and now it's a case of how well have you managed to accelerate, and it's a time of a 1:43.1. To that he goes with a 1:43.1 as well, very close in the end there. Cordell, has he gone any quicker than the 1:43.1? No, a 44.1 after 9. What's he got? Only third fastest. Stormfly, the last of Group 1. The target time still that 43.1 from Timmy, and has Stormfly made it? No, he hasn't. He's 5th, 1.3 seconds behind Timmy, so no. And at the moment it's looking good for Timmy, but as we look now, we've got Racer Tay starting in the Alpha, so that was timed to perfection. So at the moment, that's your top 5. Timmy, Epic, Athenium, Cordell and Stormfly. That is your current top 5. Now what can Group 2 do? Just the one lap. So if you make one single mistake, your whole lap is ruined. You get a penalty, then it's curtains for you, unfortunately. We've seen some drivers qualify a little bit out of position because of a slight mistake. And it can make for an interesting grid, which leads to an interesting race. Through the first sector, it didn't flash up saying he was purple, so I don't know what that means. It's not purple at the moment in sector 1. Into turn 5 now. The Alpha, it's decent at rotating around corners. It's quite nice, but it's the straights it does seem to lack a little bit. So we'll see what kind of effect the slight lack in straight line speed that Alfa Romeo has, and how that will that cost anything in battle. What we're about to find out as it charges now toward turn 9, and just a slight tap on the brakes. I think it was nothing major in terms of braking. A low lifting through turn 9. Here we go, down toward the braking zone at turn 10, and that crosses the second sector split. Now, the final sector. It's a twisty one, but is it going to be good enough for Tay? Is he going to be able to get pole position? I don't think he's quite on the lap for pole. Timmy did quite a decent job on that one, but we'll see what Racer Tay can do into the final couple of corners now, through the final chicane. It's important to get a good exit here, and he tries to bounce his way across the curb, and again, a lot of usage on that yellow exit curb. Tries to go as much speed as possible as you round the final corner and up toward the line. It's a decent lap, but it's not good enough. It's the front row, and only just on the front row for Racer Tay. Melond in the next one, he only goes 4th. What about Raiden? He crosses the line, he's purple on the lap at the moment. Raiden could spoil Timmy's day, and he has on provisional pole. Next up's going to be Vic. Is Vic got what it takes to go on the front row? What about Hat Maris, the next person to cross the line? Where does he slot himself on the grid? Into 8th, and then it's Zabi, will be the final driver for the qualifying. Zabi gets pole at the very end. And it's Zabi in the Viper on pole position for this first straight. Only just edging out the other Viper of Raiden. Literally just 0.019. Very tight margin in qualifying. But that gap between Timmy, Racer Tay and Epic Man, the gap between Tay and Epic Man is 0.001. He's 1,000th of a second quicker than Epic. That is an incredibly close qualifying gap. And Melond, I think, unfortunately disconnected, which is shame for him. I'm sure he'll be back. And he actually joined the room, because it wouldn't surprise me if we had a restart to slot him into the grid. Probably, but it will be Zabi on pole position, Raiden 2nd, Vitman rounding out the top 3 with Timmy 4th, 5th Racer Tay in 6th, Epic Man Afanime 7th, I believe Melond is about 8th. So we'd put Maris down to 9th, Cordell in 10th, and it will be Stormfly in 11th. He'll be looking to come from the back of the grid. In the structure race, he managed to gain 8 positions, so we'll see what he can do from the back of the grid. But there he is, Zabi, pole position, and on this track it will be interesting to see how they manage to overtake, if they manage to overtake. Key spots of overtaking around here. Probably turn 1. And turn 10 are your most likely bets. They're on the end of a long straight with a bit of a braking zone, so those will be your likely spots to overtake, but you can see how close the qualifying was. Zabi taking pole by 19 thousandths. Only just managing to edge out Raiden, who has so many pole positions, so I don't know how much you'll miss getting this one. So well done to TX3, KSR, Zabi. As we just wait for a reminder of the time, and I believe Vit will issue the order for everyone to leave the race, so that we don't, so we can pack out and have Melond in, because it would be a shame to miss you out, and it's probably what will happen. So Vit will then also need to manually set the grid, so there will be a little bit of, I believe there'll be a little bit of a delay. I mean, Vitt might decide he's been heartless today and decide to continue anyway, but you know, we'll see. So it's an all Viper front row for this race, although I do believe it's backing out, so we'll see. Yeah, but it's an all Viper front row, as you can see there, with Vitt and Timmy in behind. Now it's time to see who's got the best car off the line. Just see if Vitt's going to be backing out. I don't know, I don't think he is. And lights out, and away we go. Zabi looks to have gone away well, but I think Raiden's also had a pretty decent start. Wittmann in his Peugeot appears to have dropped back as usual off the line. And Evigman and Hat Marix in that Citroen's had a good start, and a lot of weaving going on in the background as Raiden tucks in behind Zabi. Vitt's ghosted, so I'm assuming he's sending in a message, and there's also Cardell. That's one way to find positions, I suppose, but with Vitt ghosted, I believe he's sending in a message. Tainaf and Naima at the back, and they are indeed leaving. So that confirmed my suspicions that we would be exiting out of this one. Vitt managed to find it in the goodness of his heart to back out and allow Mel to race. So, here we are then, back in the lobby screen again, and now it looks like Vitt is going to have to set up the grid himself. I know Sammy was on pole and Raiden was second, and it was Vitt that was third, Timmy was fourth, Tay was fifth. Everyone has entered Vitt but you. That was your top five. I don't really know anyone beyond that off the top of my head, so we'll have to see. But two people managed to get sub 43 lap times, and only two actually, was Zabi and Raiden. The top two just managed to sneak within a 40, under 43 seconds, managed to get into the 42s, which is an absolutely rapid lap. Because even Vitt just missed out with his, I believe it was a 43.0. So only just missed out getting into the 42s. But it is pole number one of the season goes to Zabi with his 42.9, which came seemingly out of nowhere. Right at the back of the quali group and just popped it in for a chat. I just fancy taking pole today. Just popped it in at the end. Oh, Hansa, welcome to the stream. I think you're usually meant to be in this lobby, but obviously you're not today. There it is. There's your grid that's been set, and it was Melon has been put to the back, it looks like. And the race will be now probably getting underway, so we'll see. What are your thoughts, people, in the chat? Who do you reckon's going to come out of this sprint race victorious? Here he is then, pole sitter, TX3, KSZR, Zabi. He will be starting this first race of the season from pole position. But will he go on to win the race? That is the question. I think one of the key things about the sprint race is getting a good start. And obviously some cars have an inherent issue with that. The likes of Vitt's Peugeot is one that is tricky to get a fine. Hansa says Raiden. He's never discount Raiden because, you know, he's just that quick, so it's quite likely that's probably the safe bet to win. But we will now be able to find out. 7 laps are upon us here at the sprint race. Melwood has been put starting at the back in Stormfire, already a position. Zabi pole position, leading a Viper 1-2. Yeah, well, I hope you're enjoying it then, Hans, and enjoy your break. Here we go then, the start of the race. 7 laps between us and a race winner. And Vit has jumped the start, and Vit has definitely jumped the start and has gone to where it's going to drop back immediately. Sabi looks to immediately have to defend from Raiden, who's immediately pushing him under pressure. There's been a huge incident in the back, and I think we're having to restart. Good luck to TGL to me. To me, he's got to spawn this 6 in arm, unfortunate that nobody wants to show up in arm, but we have got what appears to be 12 people. The race has been cancelled and we've seen a red flag immediately. Start as you mean to go on, innit? So immediate red flag. Really don't know what happened there. Yeah, so TGL Timmy will be starting this race. He's in 4th on the 2nd row alongside Vit, and we will get this race going eventually, people. It's fine. We will at some point surely get this race going. I think the reason I believe for the restart, hang on. Believe for the restart was because Vit must have jumped the start and then just caused chaos, to be honest, further down the field, because when you jump the start in this game you are forced to move incredibly slowly, which is so I think it might have just caught a couple of people out and hence chaos. Right, this time we're definitely getting underway this time, I feel, so we'll try again after the red flag restart. I believe we had this similar, we had a restart last season on the first round, which was coincidentally also on this circuit, so might just be a thing we start the season in Catalunya, we just always have a restart. In the pro lobby, the AM went away without a hitch, but the pro lobby I believe definitely had a restart at some stage. Now I think it was in the feature though, so not the sprint, but we're finally about to get the race underway. Let's try again and hope that this time, I think the real reason Vit just restarted was because he had a bad start. I think you just wanted to rectify that. No, must have been it. Here we go, let's try again then. So, Sabi pole position. Yeah, so Sabi pole position leads the Viper 1-2 that is on the front row, with Raiden in 2nd. Will it stay that way, and in which order? We've got Vitman in 3rd and 4th for TGL Timmy on the 2nd row on his first ISRL race. 7 laps are ahead of us. And it's lights out, and away we go. Sabi looks to have gotten away well and is now having to immediately try to defend from Raiden, who tucks immediately straight into the slipstream as a Citroen. The fast-starting Citroen tries to find its way up through the field. Raiden's opted for the outside into the first corner. Who breaks later into turn 1? Sabi on the inside defends from Raiden, but is he going to commit for the second corner? No, not quite. And immediately the Vipers hold out in the lead. I think that's Melon going across turn 2 there, and I think he's had some sort of incident a bit further down the pack. Racer Taves immediately dropped off the start, really to struggle off the line. The Vipers are starting to do really well here, as you can see them all filing through, trying to find whatever position they can. There's Starfly getting very aggressive and very racy, trying to find his way down the inside into turn 4, and has he managed to get up the positional race? I think he has, but he's now going to have the inside, but they're also boxed in with cars around them that they can't really manoeuvre themselves. Alpha 9 running a little bit wide, but Tay still managing to defend, and they're still side by side. At Epic is also side by side with Alpha 9. Tay and Fly getting very aggressive. Stormfly looks to just sneak his way past, and I think he's going to sit in there now, and I think does just about get up there. Melon tries to slot himself ahead of Racer Tay, and he does. So early in this race then, it is Zabi who leads away about 4 attempts, but is rapidly being gained in with Raiden, the other Viper. Now then, not that they're teammates, because we don't have teams in this league, so it will be every man for himself, and so Raiden is gonna be racing for it. He will want the win, but so will Zabi. And in the event that it all goes horribly wrong, you got the likes of Vitman, Timmy, and Cordell, who's had a really good start. He started about 7th or something, he's managed to go into 5th. That Mercedes is a very quick starter, as has Hat Maris had a decent start, but that Supra's rapid in the straights, and I think that is Epic Man, who has got a penalty and will have to serve that immediately. Melon darts to the inside on Stormfly. Epic Man there slowing down for his penalty, thankfully ghosted on the straight. That drops Epic Man down to the bottom. Melon tries to get down the inside on Stormfly. On the inside there, but couldn't quite make it work, and now Stormfly's hanging at the inside and managed to hold the position, and now Tears getting involved. Tears trying to sneak his way past Melon, so Melon has had to go from attack to defence, and meanwhile Raiden's all over the back of Zabi. Was almost looking to shape up a move. Does he try and find his way past into turn 5? No, he doesn't. Still sits in behind him at the moment. Still the top 3, the top 4 remain unchanged. Zabi leads still from Raiden, Fit in 3rd, 4th, Timmy, Cordell up into 5th place then. But it's this battle here between 10th, 9th and 8th that seems to have all been kicking off. Stormfly making headway in this race, started in 10th, he's slowly moving forward. Can he continue to do so? But he's got Melon all over the back of him now. And it looks like, is that Jag going to be quicker than the Porsche on the main straight? What can that Alpha do on this back straight now? Is Melon going to go for it into turn 10? He pulls to the inside, does stay on the inside, under braking, slows it down, gets ahead, and does just get out of Stormfly. Stormfly is well positioning that perfectly as well to avoid losing the position to race Tay. So that was perfect positioning from Stormfly as well after being overtaken by Melon, and a bit of a moment there from Epic Man, which he just caught in the background. He's got a bit slidey, but teardown in 10th place, really not good from his 5th starting position. Does seem to be struggling slightly in the sprint. We've got Raiden up the road, who's trying to find his way past Zabi. He tried the inside, it looks like he's now opted for the outside into turn 1. Has he gone far enough ahead? Does Zabi fight back? Zabi definitely fights back. And now into turn 2, they're still side by side. Who's going to come out on top? It's Zabi still just ahead. They may be driving the same car, but there are no team orders at all at play. As Zabi's still defending, and on the outside, Raiden's going to try and hold it around the outside of turn 4. It would be a fantastic move if he could get it done. If he does not get it done, tries to cut back, but Zabi defends him off there, and Zabi's doing an incredible job of defending. There isn't a gap to the inside. Raiden aggressively yanked it over to the outside there, it appeared. Now gets the cutback on the exit. It's just not quite close enough, not quite got the edge, but that little battle, which has been fantastic to watch, has allowed for Vit and for Timmy to get very close up in behind Raiden and Zabi at the front of the field. Here we go then, Vitman now looks to be in the position to get the slipstream of both of the Vipers, and now suddenly Zabi looks to have been defending a slight bit of a field now then, but Zabi just stays ahead, almost trying to create a bit of a train here. The top 4 all very close. Zabi taking a lot of runoff there on the exit. He might get penalised for it. But at the moment it looks like he's gone away with it for now, but Zabi still has Raiden in behind him with Vit and Timmy all very close indeed, and this does not look like this is going to resolve itself anytime soon. A lot of aggressive curb use they seem to be doing, getting away with it as well through the chicane. They bounce across through the final corner and onto the main straight. Who's got the best exit here? Raiden. He tried the outside last time and it didn't work. Can he try the outside again? Because it doesn't look like Zabi's going to give him a space, as they all do the conga line to try and find the substrate. Zabi pulls across to the outside to cover him up, but Raiden gets a full car ahead. But has he gone in too deep? Yes, he has. And now is Raiden under pressure from Vitman. He's broken too deep on the outside, and with a penalty, and that's surely going to cost Raiden the win. And that is going to cost Raiden a shot at the victory. We're seeing how hard it is to overtake, and that penalty is just going to drop him down. It does drop him down to 4th place, right in behind TGL Timmy, who might be able to get the podium on his first race here. Up into 3rd place now. Raiden had to serve that penalty, and that has cost him a lead. He tried going for the lead, he broke just too late on the outside, trying to find his way past. Outbroke himself and ended up going in too deep. Had to cut across the corner, and that gave him a penalty, which has now cost him a good couple of positions, dropping him down to 4th place. Now maybe even a shot at the win. Meanwhile, a bit further down the order, Ristes managed to get himself ahead of Epic Man, who's also found his way to Stormfly. The Stormfly has gradually dropped backward, but in the slipstream of the WRX, he close enough to make the move? No, I don't quite think so. Maris down in 8th place. Not the ideal race for him at the moment. Gr.3 is going to try and look to find his way around the outside. The question is, Raiden, in fact, Melon, all very close. I think Hatmar is getting a little bit of a jiggle going on out of the corner heading into turn 13. But who is it going to be? Raiden now in the slipstream of TGL Timmy. Is it going to be enough for him, though, to try and take the lead? That GTL could be holding its own at the moment, but the Viper just seems to be clawing it in the slipstream. Does Timmy go on the defensive at the risk of losing slipstream from Vit? He does not. Does Raiden pull to the inside? Raiden does pull to the inside, but not enough straight, unfortunately, for Raiden to back up into third place. And Melon has gone ahead of Athenium there, or more of Melon defending against Athenium. And Gr.3 is also overtaken at Maris, but now these three are all very close and embroiling themselves in this epic scrap now. And in fact, it looks like Hat Maris is going to try and find his way down the inside on Gr.3. No, not quite close enough. Not close enough to get him ahead on this occasion and not into turn 4. But Gr.3 continues to lead in 8th place now as the 3, I think. Hat Maris looking a little bit slidey going on there into turn 5. And so meanwhile, Raiden, they're not really dropping back into the path of Cordell. Cordell is losing them, but a solid race from Cordell in 5th place. He's really holding down the fort. 1.6 seconds the car in front, 1.1 seconds the car behind. How the car behind is gaining and is dragging the Athenium up. However, Raiden still not being able to get himself ahead of TGL Timmy. There's Wittmann in 2nd place, who's dropped about a second behind Zabi, so if Zabi can keep focused, continue to build up that gap, he has a decent shot winning the race here. Raiden almost looked like got this. Timmy might be able to get the podium in his first race. Can he get close enough and overtake Wittmann G here as they run onto the main straight now in the slipstream of Vit? And it looks like he has gained on Vit as Timmy sets the fastest lap. There is a point for that. Timmy pulls to the inside, he's going for the overtake. Is Raiden close enough to them to maybe get the double slipstream? Timmy does get ahead, and is Raiden going to try and get down the inside of both of them? Not quite down the inside of both of them. He's going to try and follow Timmy through on Vit. Doesn't quite work off there. And now Raiden in 4th place still. Up 2nd place and is now going to be the one chasing down TX3, chasing down Sabi for the race win here. But Vit dropped back to 3rd, and now his chance at a podium. He's got Raiden behind him. And now Raiden versus Wittmann. We're on lap 6 of 7. They are running out of time. He wants to get it done. What can Raiden recover in this? Cordell has lost a lot of time to Melon, and in fact Athenium's lost time to Melon as well there. And now Gr.3, who has lost the position to Hat Maris. And Stormfly's gone ahead of Epic Man. So Gr.3 on the back of Hat Maris and Melon, who's been closing in Cordell, and I wonder if this is going to be enough for Melon to take the 5th place from Cordell. Pulls to the inside, does he? No, not quite. Not quite close enough there, and we haven't seen many overtakes into turn 10. I wonder if they're just struggling to stay close out of turn 9, although Maris almost had to make a bit of an error there. The main overtake spot has been turn 1 as anticipated. In fact, Timmy hasn't really been able to make such inroads on Zabi now, and so he's still immediately back at the threat from Vit. So will Vit be able to return the favour that Timmy did from a lap ago? I don't think so, but Timmy feels the need to immediately try to break the slipstream or immediately go defensive, and that's allowed Raiden. He's opted to go for the outside of Vit. Timmy was back across, and now Raiden's the one in the slipstream, and in the background there you can see Melon pulling out the outside of Cordell, and I think Raiden has he just about done it on the outside into turn 1. Yes, he has, although Wittmann G's fighting back. Now can the Percher hold it around the outside turn 3? They're on to the final lap now. Cordell meanwhile 2 seconds back has held on to Melon. A solid race Cordell is doing. Vit, is he going to go for it to turn 4? No, he doesn't. He almost had a look there though. So Vit had a look down the inside as Raiden touches the grass. Raiden touches the grass, give him a bit of a moment, and now Vit looks to the outside again, but not quite enough. So a bit of a ruined momentum from Raiden, and he's lost time to Timmy at 1.2 seconds back. Might just be on 3rd, but Wittmann could get this back if a small mistake from Raiden could cost him, but likewise Vit could also be making a similar mistake for pushing too hard. We'll see how this all plays out at the moment. A thrilling sprint fight we have had, and it's not over yet as Vitamin G looks to try and get on the inside of Raiden there. And in fact, Cordell, again, brilliantly defending against Melon, just still holding it on, and Melon's very close in the end. It's going to go down to the wire. And in fact, Timmy's lost a bit of time now to Raiden, but I don't think with this being the last lap, I don't think it's enough for Raiden to gain the position on second. But the race winner from pole, and he hasn't quite got the first lap unless he can get it here, but the winner is going to be Zabi to win the first race of the season. Didn't get the fastest lap, but Timmy's second place and Raiden third. Fitman G coming in fourth. Cordell just edges out Melon for fifth place. Athenium seventh. Maris in eighth. Ninth place Redzater. Rather disappointing showing from him. And in 10th place Stormfly, and 11th Epic Man. So there we have it. A race win, and it was a pole position and a win, and surely a clean race as well. Not quite the triple star from Zabi, didn't quite manage to get the fastest lap as well, but there he has it. Zabi led from lights to flag. He was not unfazed by the fact that he had Raiden behind him. So we will now have a 5-10 minute break. Yeah, go on Cordell, indeed, a fantastic race from him. He did brilliantly to defend off against Melon in the end. Zabi did a fantastic job in the lead, and I shall be right back as we have a little bit of a break before the feature race, which will be reverse. Just bear with me. Alright, sorry about that stream, sorry for the dead air. I'm now back, and luckily we haven't started the picture. Gr.3 Margaret, well, glad you are enjoying it, mashed potato. Honestly, just reading your name, I could probably go with some mashed potato now. Yeah, so, it is unfortunate that the S13 AM lobby, which had 14 people signed up for it, and only 6 people showed up, which is a bit disappointing, but you know, that's the way it is. It always happens. There's always a lot of people that sign up and then no one shows up. Like you say, some probably do have a valid reason, but it is annoying. Yeah, so, basically, if you're unaware about what's going to happen next, is we're now going to have the feature race, which means tyre wear and fuel wear has been enabled. The grid will be set by reverse grid of the previous race, which means that Zabby, who won the race, will be starting at the back. And I believe it was either Epic Man and Stormfly will be starting at the front. Again, points are the same, and you get a point for fastest lap. But you will have to use both soft and medium tyre compounds at some point during the race. Somewhat now, obviously, it's likely a lot of people prefer to start on the medium tyres. You might see some that start on the softs, but the general consensus, as we can see there, we've got like Zabi, Maris, Raiden, Tear, Appenine, Cordell, Timmy and Stormfly at the moment on the mediums. Then we've got Epic Man and Melond on the soft compound of tyres. So obviously whether they just want to do a couple of practice laps on softs and go on to the mediums or not, but yeah. They will have to use both compounds of tyre in the race at some point, otherwise incurring a penalty of some kind. I think it was TNT in the last race last season at AM, which he ran softs the whole way, by mistake I think of course, but thinking that he thought he just clicked on to start mediums, but he didn't, and so that is obviously against the rules. That is how this race will go. It's a longer race as well, 21 laps. It will have a rolling start, and the guys that are starting at the back, because you know they're too good and finish at the front, will have to start probably in the middle of the chicane here. That is just the way it is. As Rayton has stopped on the tracks, the man that will be starting at the very back of the field will be Sabby, so he's going to want to try and come through the field as quickly as possible to gain as many points. He just breaks a little bit, pushing the limit there, you can see, just a little bit too hard and going sideways, going with a nice and lovely sideways entry to the corner there, but I don't think that was the quickest way. You can see just really wanting to see what lap time he can get out of these medium tyres at the moment of 46.1. So yeah, because tyre wear is on, and now because fuel depletion has been activated, it means that the cars now have fuel in them. The way this game works is if you don't have fuel depletion on, they don't carry fuel at all in terms of the lap times. So they're not on a full tank. So if you put fuel depletion on, a full tank will be a full tank and it'll go down all the time. If you take it off, it will say full tank, but it won't go down, and the pace and stuff will be as if you don't have any fuel in the car. Although not as if you don't have any. I think you should understand what I'm saying. I don't think I'll have it. Basically, the lap times are going to be slower in this one. They're still going to be quick lap times because, well, quite frankly, it's a bunch of pros. But with the tyre degradation and the fuel depletion on, the car's going to be heavier, and the tyre wear is going to kick in and it's going to make cars, depending on the car, will either make it more slidey or more understeery. Some of them will be understeery, some of them will end up being more oversteer. It all depends on the car, quite frankly. It looks like we are indeed starting the feature race. Right, here we go then. The start of the feature race is upon us, and we will have 21 laps. There it is then. That is Epic Man, who will start the race from the front. Stormfly VR46 in second. Viper at the back, and Viper who will start in ninth. Here we go. Thank you, Dom. As much you, I do appreciate it, but you've also got a race to do, so you know. Good luck with the race. So here we go then. Epic Man's AI. AI takes over until we get the 3, 2, 1 countdown and the race begins. Epic Man will lead us away on the run into the first corner, and away they go then. And it looks like he's almost not at an ideal start, as Stormfly immediately gaining in as he's fit, and in fact there's a bit of weaving going on for Stormfly, which is an interesting tactic to see what's going on there. There's a little bit of weaving. I think they're just trying to get temperature in the tyres before they get into the braking zone for the first corner, which is an interesting strategy. I haven't actually seen that before, but you know, it's the way it goes. But everything looks all calm for now, as the drivers all remain in the positions that they started this feature in, which does happen with the rolling start. And in fact there's Andenheim almost looking as though he was going to go down the inside there of Hat Maris and gets a bit of a wobble on. Melon goes around the outside, now swoops himself around on the inside, and Melon looks like he's about to make the position, and he does just about get ahead. Just about gets ahead and into 5th place, but Athenheim's fine back, but not quite fully. Athenheim unable to get back on that position on Melon. A slight error and it cost him a place. That just shows how tight this field really is. So the tyres from Epic Man on the mediums, Stormfly mediums, Tay on the mediums, Hat Maris on the mediums, Melon the highest soft tyre runner, and I'm on the mediums, Cordell on the mediums, Vit on the mediums, Raiden on the mediums, Timmy on the mediums, and Zabi on the mediums. So everyone has opted for the medium tyre apart from Melon trying this alternate strategy. Be interesting to see how well he can gain his way through the field. Whilst on the softs, he'll be able to use the mediums at some point, but you can really see the pace difference as he's all over the back of Hat Maris. I'm sure the objective is to try and cut his way through the field as quickly as possible, and it looks like he's about to do that. He's on the back of Melon, and he's going to run around the outside on the exit there. Very risky place to be, but he has managed to just stick it out. Hat Maris was aware of that. He was and now in the Jag he moves up in a 4th place. He's having a great start. He's already starting to look at a move on the racer taste. So Melon is carving his way through the field. And Sabi's another driver as Raiden pits in immediately on the end of the first lap onto the set of softs. Now that is an interesting... That is interesting. And Raiden has opted to go onto the soft tyres and to do it on lap 1. I'm sure there's some key strategic move that he'll come up with. Timmy down in 10th place, and Sabi's already dispatched of Timmy and he's trying to move up through the field. So Raiden has already made a pit stop. At Maris is defending now from Athenheim, as Melon has actually made his way out of Racete. He's up in a 3rd place, so Melon is just bothering to overtake everyone at the moment. And now Melon's opting to go to the outside and trying to find his way around the outside at turn 10. He does, but Epic Man fights back, and he very aggressively fights back and fends him off. But that's not enough. Melon will try and find it around the outside, and he holds the position there, and Melon makes P2. And great move from Melon to there, as now he's just in behind Stormfly in the lead. I can't remember where he started, but he's on a mission at the moment. He's really opted to make this soft tyre stint work for him, and now Red, and with that interesting first lap pit stop, we will be keen to keep an eye on him. We've got Vitman G all over the back of Cordell. Is Cordell, who did a great job at defending against Melon in the first race. Is he going to be able to hold off against Vit in this race? Goes to the inside on the main straight down toward turn 1. Is side by side, but it is... Has that Peugeot just got enough legs on it to try and find his way through? Yes, it does. It does get him down the inside into braking into the first corner. Cordell loses the position. Cordell, though, is not giving up, and he's come straight back out in there. And a little bit of a wobble, but it seems all good for now. Vit holding P7. So then, Epic Man dropped down to then. In fact, Melon has taken the lead of the race in 3 laps. He's overtaken everyone and is now off on one. He currently holds the fastest lap, and He was the only driver to start the race in the softs. He is making a mission now. I think the main target he needs to try and get ahead of will be Raiden. By the way, Raiden 11.3 seconds off the race leader, which is Melon. Melon, Stormfly, Epic Man in third place. That is rounding out your top three. Racer T's actually under pressure from the Alpha 9, but not quite enough. It's not quite enough to get ahead of the Alpha driver on that particular corner, but I'm sure he'll just wait it out for a little bit longer. Alpha 9 looking all over the back, move turn 12. Now we head down toward 13, which leads straight into the chicane of 14 15. Not particularly an overtaking spot, but it's an easy spot to get wrong, and Alpha 9's attack might have to turn to defence because he had a mistake getting into the chicane, and then Maris is in the slipstream of, and now Maris has got the slipstream off of Alpha 9, but I don't think it's quite close enough to make the overtake. Yes, but I don't think it was quite enough for the overtake. In fourth place then, on the back of Epic, still trying to find a way. He had a bit of breathing space from Alpha 9 when he made a slight little mistake, unable to have Maris stick close, but I don't think it's quite close enough on this occasion. So Maris still staying right up behind Alpha 9, trying to get closer to make move at some point, but Alpha 9 has dropped back slightly in the rest stage, really focusing on assaulting that top three, but a 2.5 second gap at the front there for Melon. He's romping away with it at the moment on that alternate strategy. Will be interesting to see where he finishes and how well it's all paid off. Bitman Gene 7 on the back of Maris. Is he going to be able to find the slipstream? Is it going to be enough? No, not quite. In the background there, that is Raiden and Sabi. Raiden couldn't find his way past Sabi in the sprint race. He's got fresher and softer tyres on this occasion though, but not quite there. Can Raiden find his way past Sabi in the feature race? Raiden pitted in early, so early, in fact it was lap 1, and he's really got to try and get a move on, cut his way through the field as quickly as possible. Raiden gets him on the exit of turn 12. Into turn 13, does Raiden. Sabi though, however, is in the background. It is just in the slipstream. If he can get a good run onto this main straight, he might be able to come back, and in fact that is Bitman G going down the inside of Maris for 7th, or 6th, sorry. He's trying to get down the inside, and is he quite close enough? He's managed to pull himself ahead on the braking, and he gains the position that way. What about Raiden and Sabi? Sabi close, but not quite close enough to make the move. Cordell into 8th place. He will be the next target for Raiden. Meanwhile, Racer T running a little bit wide on the outside with Alpha 9 down the inside. Alpha 9 has made it work in the Supra. He's found his way past and has eventually managed to get on top of Racer T, and he's really started to drop down a little bit. Now next one we know, Eric Man is under pressure from Alpha 9. Stormfly has got about a 1.5 second gap at the moment over Epic Man, but a 4 second difference between Stormfly and Melon. Melon is pulling away at the moment. Those soft tyres are working an absolute treat. Be interesting to see what tyres he pits onto. Raiden, I think, decided to do away with the softs immediately. Do away with the mediums immediately, and then run soft for the rest of the race. I believe that is going to be his plan. Filled up as well to be we have initial fuel on, and now he can push. So it'll be an interesting strategy as well. He gets out of all the battling, which will enable him to catch straight back up. Like all the people Raiden's overtaking now, he's already a pit stop over. TGL Timmy also pitted a couple of laps ago. Sabi, however, hasn't pitted and is down in 10th place, so it's going to be a difficulty race for Sabi, not like the sprint that he had at all. But Raiden now on the back of Cordell. Now will Raiden be able to get close enough and overtake Cordell? He's right over the back now, and the slipstream pulls to the inside, and I think it might just be enough for Raiden to overtake Gr.3 Cordell. The main straight down towards turn 1, and Raiden does get ahead and pulls back onto the racing line. He got full car ahead and was able to get back just in front of him so he could brake on the proper line, ready for the first corner. How is Redmond G has also found his way past Tay, dropping down the order slightly. He's not close enough to getting ahead of it. They're all still very close. We approach 1/3 distance, and Athenheim found his way ahead of Epic's Man, who's got a penalty. Epic Man has a penalty, and that means he is going to have to slow down. Oh, he's all over him. He's trying to get the run on Athenheim. He's going to have to slow down at some point, and he chooses to back off slightly, but he needs to fully slow down and remove that penalty as soon as possible. I know in the heat of the moment you want to keep battling, but it is the rules, and he will face a penalty if he doesn't get rid of it, especially because Vitz is riding behind him. So if he don't burn it on the straight, for sure he's definitely getting a penalty, and he has, in my opinion, held it for now too long, and that is going to be a penalty for not burning. A penalty. Vic gets the exit on Epic Man, and Epic Man loses again, and now Reza Tay on the outside at turn 12, not enough to get close enough. Right, goes enough ahead of Epic's Man then, and Epic Man dropping down the order into 5th place. Stormfly 2 seconds clear of after 9, but Melon pits. So Melon managed to get the alternate strategy, starting on the soft, carved his way through the field, pulled that 6-second gap. Where will assume the lead of this race with Epic Man in 2nd and Vit in 3rd now. In fact, Epic Man is also in pits along with Cordell. Melon filling up. It looks like it's going to fill up to go the whole way in the next stint. So as they approach onto lap 7, which means we're about 1/3 of the way through, and Raiden is now managed to get out ahead of Melon, who comes down in 8th place, just ahead of TGL Timmy, who has already made his stop, but as Timmy's gone ahead of Epic Man and Cordell. So Timmy has gained worked for Timmy. He's got himself ahead of Epic Man and Cordell into 9th place. So the undercut looks pretty strong around here. Melon as well is now just behind Raiden, who has already made his stop. But now we'll see what the job is going to be for these drivers, is to have as quick as possible an outlap, because it looks like they could have triggered a chain reaction as after Naim on the gravel they're braking. And it looks like he's ghosted, like he's not even driving the car. It's a problem for After Naim. He was running in 3rd, 2nd even at one stage, and he's gone. And an issue for Arthur Naim sees him out of the race, and so disastrous because he was running in 2nd. That promotes Raiden to 5th place now, and it looks to just have had an issue there, and that is unfortunate for the Arthur Naim, who is no longer partaking in this feature race. I say, completely leaves I wonder what the issue is. Rage quitting is against the rules as Hat Maris gets all tail happy coming out turn 12. Really trying to push, and he's made a bigger mistake, and he's gone completely round. And that is Hat Maris, who has spun and has completely fallen off the track, and he's not even on our camera shot at the moment, as I think he's rejoined the track as he rejoined it safely. He's tried to go into the pit lane, and a disastrous way it went to the pit lane. So in all that, Stormfly and Vit have pitted in, as Melon managed to get ahead of Stormfly again. You'd think he would have, seen as he was ahead of them when Melon pitted. And it looks like he definitely has. TGL Timmy as well is up there, and Sabi, who's yet to pit, now in 3rd, and Race Day, who is also yet to pit, but Raiden is effectively taking the race lead and will be a pit stop ahead. So that pitting on lap 1 has worked wonders. Melon's alternate strategy sees him back out on a set of medium tyres, whereas everyone now will be pitting onto soft. So Melon is going to just have to make do with these medium tyres and try to hold position here if he wants to podium. It is possible, but it's not going to be the easiest task when everyone is now on softer tyres, because now the advantage that Melon had over everyone when he started on the softs and they were all on mediums has now completely disappeared, because now they're all on the tops and he's on mediums. So Melon, who will effectively be in 2nd place, is going to have a hard time if he wants to hold on to that. And we got word that the reason After Naim is out of the race is because his dog tripped and disconnected his wheel, which is a very, very unfortunate accident. It's such a shame. After Naim, you were in such a strong position, and it would be nice to see you up there, but unfortunately I'm going to say these things happen, but it seems quite a rare thing to actually end up happening as Raiden's in again. So Reste, who still hasn't pitted, and Raiden, who's now making second stop. So I wonder if he didn't fill up. It doesn't look like he might have filled up actually. Not pit stop, so that was... His tyres don't look overly bad, but that's put Melon, I think, into an effective lead, because the top two, I believe now the only two drivers yet to have made a pit stop. Mari's down in 10th place. He made a mistake just as he came into the pit stop. I think Raiden's filled up, not entirely, so Raiden not filled up entirely. There's some interesting strategy going on there for Raiden, the reigning champion. And so then that puts Reste, who still holds out leading this race. Sabi second, third place Melon. Although he's got a bit of a train forming with Timmy and Stormfly, who's in a strong position. Obviously he benefited from the reverse grid setup of the feature race. I wonder actually how many more times Raiden's going to stop. Is he possibly a 3 stop? I think obviously Reste and Sabi haven't pitted. We're approaching about halfway. They might be trying the 1 stop in this race. The majority is probably going to be about a 2 stop, maybe a 3. I'm not too certain. But Timmy's all over the back of Melon for the podium. Timmy got the podium in the first race, then they get into the top 3 again in the feature race. And in fact, if he does overtake Melon, he'll effectively take the race lead when Sabi and Tay pitted. So Timmy can lead a race his first weekend of racing with ISRL, and I think he could count that to be a successful debut. He had a strong qualifying performance. There's going to be enough here now. Timmy around to the final corner, and Sabi pits in now on lap 9, but Tay continuing on again for another lap. So Melon's going to take second place, Timmy's going to go into third, and Sabi's going to drop all the way down to the back. And there is, I think, just you can see Raiden in the background, but is Timmy going to be close enough to opt for the move into turn 1? No, not quite, but as Vitma G pulls to the inside and swoops around the Epic Man, and that's Vit up into 5th place. So everyone now has made at least 1 pit stop. Raiden has made 2, Reste has made none. So Reste still to pit. He would probably pit around about now, you would suspect. I can't see how much longer he's going to continue. Is he gaining on Melon? I think he might, if he's gaining time over Melon, could possibly actually help to stay out, because Melon, if he's gaining over Melon, then he's gaining over the cars behind Melon, but Melon is backing up, and I think that gap to Timmy it's around about 9 seconds. So Ted's not going to come out back in the lead, but I think what he needs to do ideally is to come out at a Raiden, who is 14.5 seconds back, and I don't think Ted will be able to do that, but that is what Ted needs to do. Melon in third, in second, might be about to lose second to TGL. Timmy goes down the inside. Timmy does make the inside up into second place. Melon in third. Fourth is Stormfly. Melon around the outside, he tries to go now. Is Timmy in second. Melon third. 4th place is Stormfly VR46, and Tay's in. So Tay finally makes his first pit stop of the race. He's surely going to go into the softs. That means TGL Timmy, it's his first race this weekend, and he's managing to take the lead. Immediately tries to weave across, darts across to try and break the slipstream, but I think Melon's more being a threat by Stormfly, who's having an amazing feature race, considering he found himself languishing down toward the back of the sprint race, and now he's about to make a move for second place down the inside of Melon. So Melon's altered strategy. It was working brilliantly in the first stint to gain the positions, but now on the mediums, now when everyone else has gone into the softs, he looks to have dropped back massively. Tay has come out all the way down in 9th place, as Sabi just about gets ahead of him there. So now everybody is pitted in, and it looks like Timmy has taken the race lead. Will he be the race leader, however? 12 laps later, when the race is finished, Stormfly in second also could win this race. So this is going to be a great scrap now between Stormfly and TGL Timmy for the race lead. Melon's starting to drop a little bit. How much is bringing Raiden into play? He's trying to catch up. He's got a couple of cars between him and the race win, and they're not going to just let him through. But Timmy's still just edging out, and in fact Timmy's tyre is looking worse for wear than Stormfly. So Stormfly doing really well, and he might be in a really good chance of taking the lead. Clearly a MotoGP fan and a fan of Valentino Rossi, but not quite enough there to take that lead of the race. Not on this occasion. He's going to try it around the outside. No, not quite. Melon as well in third place. He's having to defend against Vit. Not an easy driver to defend from is Vit in P4. We've got Epic Man in fifth as well, with Raiden just behind him. So there's battles starting to break out everywhere, and this is why we love ISRL. Stormfly in a very unconventional place to take the lead, has done it, but did he push Timmy out the way to do it? Timmy, as he felt like he's been forced up, now Melon's in the shot, are trying to come back at them all. Did Timmy get pushed off the track there by Stormfly? Just missed out, and unfortunately don't have access to replays, but it was a very interesting place to try and make it in the chicanes. Timmy going to come back at him there, not quite. They all train up, they'll Constantine around into the first corner, as you can see. Raiden up into fifth place, but the snake of the drivers, they all head round here. And now to see Stormfly leading the race. Timmy second, third, Melon fourth place. Vitman, is Vitman going to be able to get ahead of Melon? No, not on the schedule, not to get into the top three. Not quite enough. It pulls the outside. Timmy backs off, going slow. And now Vic gets me to third, and Timmy in fourth. And now Raiden suddenly right up on the top six are very close to each other, but by 2.5 seconds. So many cars in such a short place now, and his Melon, his medium tyres are really starting to back everyone up, and this is going to work wonders for Stormfly. He's managed to get through him, and he's now just got to contend with this gap, with the fact that Stormfly is starting to pull away from him. Vic tries to go down the inside. He tries the inside, not quite enough for the inside. Just about squeeze his way through goes Vic. Timmy now in fourth place as Melon is really starting to back everyone up, and it was crucial that Vic could get the move done there, because he needs to get ahead of Melon, who's started being a little bit of a moving roadblock. No offense to Melon, but those mediums really seem slower than the soft tyres at the moment, because if you compare Melon's time on the last lap as Timmy's opted out. Timmy has opted out and has gone into the pit lane. And when you look at Melon's time on the last lap was a 46.5, Stormfly a 44.9, 1.5 seconds or something, about 1.5 seconds quicker than what Melon did on that lap. And even Vit was nearly a second quicker, despite spending half a lap behind him. So Melon, 1.5 seconds a lap slower than the guys on the softs at the moment. Raiden's now up into fourth. The alternate strategy for Melon, I don't think it's quite worked. It was worth a shot, and all credit for him for trying. It was a risky move, but it doesn't appear to have paid off now with Raiden in fourth place and with the fast lap and a very aggressive strategy. Timmy now making his second pit stop. He's made. Raiden in P4 tries to look for a move on Melon, but it's not going to happen there. Raiden's on a very aggressive strategy. Pitted on lap 1, pitted a couple of laps ago on lap 8, or so like that, lap 7. Lap 8, yeah, he pitted in, and now Raiden comes down the inside on Melon to take the top 3 spot, and into third he goes. And then by seeing the undercut is very powerful, but a long stop from Timmy as he filled up puts him a long way down. The order Stormfly leading this race on then, with Vic in second, who was lapping quick on the last lap. It was a 44.9 from Stormfly, a 45.8 from Vit. But Vit spent about half a lap in behind. He spent half a lap in behind Melon. On that occasion, a bit slower Stormfly with a 45.0, and half a second quicker with a full lap of clean air is Vitman G. So Vitman's going for him. Vitman is most definitely coming toward him. And so I believe would also be Raiden with a 44.5. But Raiden actually just a little bit slower than Vit on that previous lap. In terms of Melon's lap time, of 45.9 on the last lap, really looks to be struggling at the moment on those mediums. And you can just see with Radenstein how a lap in clean air and he's gained such a... The fast up at the moment of 43.8 is held by Raden. Obviously there's a point for that, which is going to go a long way for the championship, as there is a point in both races. Sabi has been having a bit of a difficult race, finding himself toward the back end of the order, but Sabi and Rested, the last two drivers to pit in, and it's Sabi ahead of Rested. Be interesting. I think possibly a two-stop. I don't know if they will be able to stretch the softs out to go the entire distance, but they're going to possibly have fresher rubber than anyone else at the end of the race, unless someone decides to try and pit multiple times and gain the advantage that way. So it'll be interesting to see. Interesting to see how well that happens. And Stormfly and Vic goes in, and Raiden follows them in. Melon not trying to go into the pit. So what does Abby and Tay do? So we've got the top three at the time. They all pitted in. Vic led Raiden, led Stormfly in, and they've all got this off. So Raiden only looks to be filling up for each individual pit stop. So just enough to get to the next pit stop, it seems, instead of filling up the whole way. It's an interesting strategy decision at Maris in 6 place 7 as Stormfly. He comes out the pits now. Who's put most fuel in? In fact, Stormfly is being jumped by Vitamin G as Raiden, who's left out, and has come out just behind him. Who put the most fuel in? They all put in about the same, so I'm not sure if that's going to be the fuel to get to the end or whether that's going to be just enough fuel to make the next pit stop. We will wait and see. But now it does put Tay into third, Sabi into second, and Melon now up into lead. So now these three have got to not battle each other too hard to try and close in on Melon. In fact, Raiden tries the inside. Raiden's opted for the inside on Stormfly, but Stormfly looks to have done a great job at defending and just about holds him off there. Now then, Melon leads, and they don't want to hold each other up too much, although they're still gaining on the soft. So I think the smartest decision would be to pit Melon now, go on to a set of the soft tyres and try to follow the pit stop of these three, because that is going to be Melon's best chance of winning this race. Because even battling, there's still generally, the gap tends to look like they're coming down a bit, which means you just lose more time to these people who will be fighting for the race win at the end. So the best idea would be for Melon to pit this lap as Stormfly, I think, goes a little bit too deep into turn 10. And so does Melon opt to go toward the pit lane. In fact, Sabi and Tay getting close, 1.2 seconds out. And it looks like Melon has heeded my warning and is into the pit lane now then. That'll be interesting. Sabi's in as well. Tay continues on. Sabi in the pit lane, as is Melon. So they'll be probably both pitting onto a set of the soft tyres. Here comes Whitman G. What's Melon doing? Is he on his way out? He's filling up. Still putting fuel in the car, and I think Melon's got him. Melon has very much got him. Where does he come back out of the pit? So there's Vic. He's come out right in this battle now. So Melon, as you see Raiden overtaking Stormfly, has got just a lap pressure at softs and is not too far out behind them now. It looks like we're about to see Vic, Raiden, Stormfly, Melon. This could be the scrap till the end of the race. Can Timmy come back at it and get the win? It all depends. How much fuel do they have? Do they have the fuel to get to the end of the race? Stormfly tries to move down the inside into turn 4 and he's going for it. And he's managed to make his way to stick. Raiden on the outside. Raiden tries to get around the outside now. Not quite enough. Stormfly, not enough there at turn 5 to get ahead of Raiden. It's going to take something more than that to get into 4th place. We've got Timmy and Epic Man who are over 6th place. Now with just that lap fresher tyres than the guys in front of him in the form of Stormfly, Raiden and Vitman G. He's not really gaining in all too much. This will probably be the battle in the top 3 for the race win. What will Race Tay do? How far down will he drop? Sabi, he came out in 8th place, and I think Sabi will be the target for Tay to come out ahead of, so it is indeed a 2-stop race. But I think for Tay and Sabi, that pit stop might it make him go till the end of the race. I think Ted definitely will only need to make one pit stop because he's continuing on again, unless he is trying this one stop, because he's got like 5 laps to go in this race. and a 5-second gap over Wittmann and T. It's going to be a stretch. Wittmann needs to be gaining over its second lap on T and then needs to overtake him. It's going to be close. 5 laps and 5 seconds. That gap's coming down. Reste might actually be trying the one stop to win the feature race here. Now Melland in 5th place. He's right off the back of Stormfly. Melland's charging for that podium, and it looks like Vit's going to be the first driver to head onward to take T's feature race win. Will he be able to do it though? That's the question. As T leads away, with Wittmann in 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th are indeed Raiden, Stormfly and Melland. So then it's 4 seconds at the moment. He's got like 4 and a bit laps of this race left. He might be on toss. If he keeps it completely calm, he's going to have to do everything he can to try and look after those tires the best he can, which are wearing out, and the drivers behind him aren't any slouch at driving. You've got Wittmann and Raiden. One of the best when you see them behind you, they're quite rapid. You've got Stormfly, who's really looked quite handy in this feature race. He's holding his own in 4th place. He found himself in 10th toward the back of the sprint race, but it's really looking like he could score a handful of points to still come away with a strong finish. Although Melland on the inside trying to take 4th. Melland does take P4 and gets ahead of Stormfly, moves up into 4th position, and now it's his chance to try and move on to 3rd. Remember, Melland has got just a bit nicer tyres, a lap fresher. It's now, let's see, 4 laps and it's 3.2 seconds. I think that gap's going down a bit too much for T's liking. A whole second, 1.3 seconds quicker on that lap was Wittmann, so the gap is coming down quite rapidly. Will T be even to hold on to a podium? It's going to be quite a challenge. T's going to have to give absolutely everything that he can here. As you can see, the front left taking quite a beating around here. A lot of fast right-hand corners that put the load on the left tyre, mainly the turn 3 and turn 4, which are quite long, relative high-speed corners, and they are putting quite a lot of load on that entire left-hand side of the car, which is why that left-hand corner, as well as the final corner as well, and turn 12, this one as we see take around it, is a corner where we can see the left tyres taking quite a bit of a beating, and it all goes onto that front that's carrying the grunt of the right hand corners. And so then, is Ted just got what it takes? He's about to approach onto the final 3 laps of the race, and those final 3 laps cannot come soon enough for Ted. Vit chasing him down then, everything he's got. Vit and Raiden chasing him down with absolutely everything. A 44.1 on that lap, slightly slower for Vit, whereas Racer Tay took a 45.9, considerably slower on the horse. He lost 6 tenths of an arm on himself, and in fact 1.8 seconds, that was how much Vit closed down on that lap. And I don't think he's going to do it with 3 laps. At this rate, he's going to get on him on the next lap. Yeah, at this rate, Reste is going to have Vit filling his mirrors on the very next lap, and in fact Melland might be about to make sure Raiden doesn't get a podium in either of the races here, as he sets the fastest lap on the previous lap. Those fresher stuff's really working for him, and he's looking like one of the quicker drivers. He's got 3 laps to do it. Raiden isn't the easiest driver to overtake when he really wants to defend, but has Melland got what it takes to take P3 and make sure Raiden, who is one of the quickest drivers, he's one of the quicker drivers in this league, is he not going to finish on the podium at either of the first 2 races here in the sprint and feature? He's pulled to the inside, but not quite enough. So he sees the purple sector again, improving on his own fastest lap. Meanwhile, Vit, he's already within a second to striking distance now. But how easy will it be for Wittmann to overtake Tay? We'll hope he doesn't quite get it. He's tried taking the risk of the one stop. He's attempted the risk of getting the one stop, but on that it hasn't appeared to work, because Vit is now all over him, and Vit is about to head on to the penultimate lap of this feature race, and it's all come down to this. Tay leads onto lap 20 of 21, but will he be able to defend against Vitman G, who comes right to the outside? He's up for the outside. Tay's massively more worn softs, and on that occasion it's not enough. Tay, but does he fight it back under braking? Yes, he does try and fight it back under braking, but it's tight, but Vitman does do it. Vic does take the lead, and Melon gets ahead of Raiden and knocks Raiden out of the top 3. Now can Melon, who's got even softer tyres, even fresher tyres than what the likes of Vic and Raiden have, as I think Zabi made a pit stop there, but Melon, who's got even fresher tyres, will surely be able to destroy that gap. On that lap, it was a 46 Hereditary, it was a 44.2 of Vitman, so the gap just seems to be more and more slower. Again, 1.8 seconds lost to Vit on that previous lap. Now Hereditary, who lost a whole 2 seconds slower. 2 seconds slower on that previous lap than Melon, the guy who's behind him. Just missed out by 2 tenths his fastest lap, but I think that was the move on Raiden. And now he's trying it on the outside to get past Race 2. He's going to drop down yet another position. It was a gamble to keep Race 2 out. He defends. He's defending the inside though. He's fighting for it, but it looks like Melon's going to get the better drive. And he does. And now Melon's got the inside for turn 12. And there he goes. Now Raiden, who's also going to try and see Tay will lose 2 positions here. And now suddenly Stormfly has been brought back into this. Raiden getting a little bit sideways. Stormfly has now been brought back into this because Tay, who sort of just backed them all up a little bit now. So now suddenly any one of these drivers can finish on the podium. It was a risk from Tay, but it looks like it's a risk that hasn't fully paid off. He's going to be in the slipstream Melon onto the final lap. Vitman G leads away. Raiden is currently P3 with Melon in second. Tay, no, Raiden P4, but he might be about to take P3 away from Racer Tay. No, not quite. Not quite, but Tay's gone in deep. Tay's gone in very deep, and it's not enough. Not quite enough to get in there, but now Raiden tries it from the outside. No, not quite. Doesn't quite get ahead. Although Raiden sneaks down the inside at turn 3 on the exit. Now he's got the inside line for turn 4. Can Race Day defend again? No, it's got Stormfly on his inside. And Stormfly all over the back of Raiden. This is his opportunity if he's going to get a podium on the last lap to get in 2 positions. He's gone for it. Into turn 5. There's contact. And Raiden's gone off. A very aggressive move from Stormfly. Sees Raiden 4th, and Timmy is now about to get 5th. And I'm sure there's going to be an inquiry over that one. About what on earth happened there. A very aggressive move from Stormfly at turn 5. He saw the gap and absolutely sent it down the inside under braking. But now Recite, what will it be for him now? Not a podium in the end unless Stormfly makes a mistake in his final sector. But Stormfly with an aggressive move on Raiden knocks him pretty much out of the all the way down to P6 now. And it's got dirt on his tyres, and unfortunate for Raiden, he's done a great race nonetheless. But a podium that's gone slipping away from him on the final lap. Vitman G does come around the final corner to win the feature race at Catalunya. Melon second, Stormfly on the podium, race to 4th. Timmy in at 5th place, 6th place Raiden, 7th for Epic Man. In 8th place is Sabi, 9th place Cordell, and in 10th a rather disappointing couple of races for Hat Mari, so hope to get it underway, and a DNF for after 9. What a race! And on the final lap, a Stormfly podium, but a controversial one. And I'm sure there's going to be some sort of inquiry into that one. I don't think Raiden will be happy about having that taken away from them. Vitman only with the 1 start, the clean race start on this occasion, but went up 7 positions in that race. A fantastic performance from him. A disappointment for Raiden there. What on earth happened? Great racing again, guys. Yep, Mash Potato, glad you enjoyed it to see. Anyone on the stream got a thoughts on the incident between Stormfly and Raiden before we end the stream? I don't know, I think it's one that will have to get looked at, and I'm sure it will. But thanks for watching. Nice and entertaining. Thank you, Gad. Glad you enjoyed it. I will be ending the stream here. Again, join us back next week, same time. And it will be at Brands Hatch. Very tight, twisty track. Going to be difficult. Could be a lot of mistakes on that one. Glad you enjoyed this one with some great racing. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.